Deep in the heart of an ancient forest, where the trees were twisted and gnarled, there existed a legend that no one dared to speak aloud. It was said that once you stepped foot into the woods after dark, you would never be alone again. Emily had heard the stories all her life, but she was a skeptic. Ghosts, monsters, and curses were just tales told to keep children from wandering too far. So, when she found herself lost in those very woods one cold October night, she wasn't afraid, at first. The deeper she ventured, the more the forest seemed to close in around her. The towering trees blocked out the moonlight, leaving her in almost total darkness. She tried to calm her nerves, telling herself she'd find her way back soon. But then, she heard it, a soft rustling sound, like footsteps in the leaves behind her. She stopped and listened, her breath caught in her throat. The forest was supposed to be empty. She turned around, shining her flashlight through the trees. There was nothing there, just darkness. But as she resumed her walk, the sound returned, louder this time, closer. She spun around again, her heart racing. Still nothing. "Who's there?" she called out, trying to sound braver than she felt. Silence. Then, from the shadows, a whispering voice replied, "I'm always here." Emily froze, her blood running cold. The voice was barely audible, but it was close. Too close. She started to walk faster, then broke into a run, her flashlight beam bouncing wildly through the trees. The footsteps followed, growing faster and more urgent, matching her pace. She could hear the whispering all around her now, a chorus of voices, as if the forest itself was alive and watching her. She ran until her legs burned, until she thought her heart would explode. But no matter how fast she went, the footsteps kept pace, always just behind her. Finally, she burst into a clearing and saw the distant lights of the town below. Relief washed over her as she stumbled toward safety. But just as she reached the edge of the forest, she made the mistake of looking back. In the shadows, she saw them. Countless pairs of glowing eyes watching her, unblinking. She knew then that the stories were true. She had ventured too deep, and now the watcher in the woods would never let her go. Emily escaped the forest that night, but she was never truly free. Even in the safety of her home, she could feel the watcher's gaze, always just out of sight, waiting. And when she closed her eyes, the whispering would return, reminding her that in the darkness she was never alone, and it was only a matter of time before it came to claim her.